Okay, good evening, everyone. How are you doing today? Good evening, online. Good evening. Okay, so hope everyone are doing good. Let's jump on. What did we discuss in our last class? What did we discuss in our last class? Eh? What? Environments and yeah, config maps, secrets, and then sidecar. So did you complete it? And also I have given one project. Completed, huh? Huh? Completed? How about you online? LB URL. Online. This is just for Dinesh. This is just to put it everything in one place. There's nothing to be done with this. But with the load balancer, everything worked, and you're able to, without port also. I told you clearly here. If you want to change it to expose it with port 80 also. Fantastic. Very good. Maza aa gaya while doing it. But you understand the logics? You also done? Notepad is good, right? Okay. So I was doing the same project and I listed everything what I'm doing it. So I think that went really well. And by this in the Kubernetes also you got a project where you can do the front end and then back end also. And you know how to create a config maps and how to set up the database URL, DB URL, how to call from one manifest file to another one, right? Super. Online, only Dinesh is responding. Dinesh name DNA brand. Huh? Okay, so online, other people, did you guys completed the project? No worries. Okay, people are not joined yet. Abhijit, Asma, Krishna, Kalyani, Lingareddy. Nowadays you are silent. Nadeem, Prajwal, Rajesh, Subbarao, Ranjan, Shams, Sanjay, Shravanti, Tarun. I haven't received Google yesterday Google Classroom. Why? I uploaded no entire project. Ah, correct. Guys, I think Google Classrooms, I think management has removed the access, those who have not paid the fees. So please get in touch. Who is your admin? Akhil only, right? So please, not you, Kalani, generally, just in case I'm telling. So whenever you don't have any access to the Google Classroom, that meaning, so admin might have removed because of the payments and all. So if you have done the payments completely, please put a screenshot to him saying that, so payment is completely already done. So please give the Google access or something, right? So that is the only possible thing. Okay. All right, so let's move on. So that was really fun while doing yesterday's things, sidecars and all, and also the project MongoDB Express project. Uh, ah, Service name. Endpoint. Yes. I enroll on 23 and watching lectures from Git. That's why I'm not able to grab all. Watching lectures from Git. Why Prajwal? Oh, from Git series. Okay, from Git. Acha. But that is not related at all, no, Prajwal. So Git is it's completely different. So Kubernetes is different, right? So there's nothing. So just continue the classes, okay? Okay, now. So let's move on. So my cluster is already ready, right? kubectl get nodes. It's ready. And then kubectl get pods. So I don't have any pods. Your efforts. Are you fasting, sir? Yes. Fasting is mandatory for us. Okay. Now done. We'll break the fast at 6:30. So that's the reason why uh, I kept it at 7 o'clock. Huh? Yeah. Now break. So it's with fasting also I can teach. Previously I used to teach 5 batches continuously with fasting. Yeah. Okay. Let's go with the next topic. No, Dinesh. Next topic called ingress controller. What is that? Ingress. Say that. Ingress. This topic we know already. It's similar to the load balancing only. But in AWS, if you remember, we learned about the load balancer called path-based routing. What is that? Do you remember path-based routing? Path-based routing. So path-based routing meaning what? So you have a load balancer. And in the load, if you put the load balancer by default, you will get it to the backend application. But in the backend, you might be having multiple applications. So application one, application two. But if you put the load balancer slash application one, you should get one application. And if you would slash at the end application two, you should get the application two. And how to get this? How to get this path-based routing is through ingress controller. What is that? Ingress controller. So here, when I was setting up this thing for you, so I took two things here. Application one as Nginx, application two as Apache. What's that? Nginx and Apache. So if you put load balancer slash Nginx is that meaning that's the application I took. Nginx, you will get the Nginx page. And if you put slash HTTPD, you will get the HTTPD. So the images I'm using Nginx. Can you change the image and put your own application or not? Simple. Right? So I'm giving you the skeleton image. You can put any image so that your application will be exposed. Should we do that? So that is about the ingress. What's that? So guys here, in order to ingress is a service to expose what? Application. What's that? Application. But we already have the cluster IP node port load balancer. Yes or no? But let's see here what exactly this ingress is doing about. Ingress helps to expose HTTP and HTTPS routes from outside the cluster. And it supports what? Host-based routing and what here? Path-based routing. So what is host-based routing path? Remember in AWS we learn host-based meaning boom.com, web.boom.com, admin.boom.com, all these things we call it as what? Host-based. Path-based meaning boom.com slash hello, boom.slash admin, Paytm slash movies, Paytm slash recharge. Yes or no? If you go to Paytm also, what do you have? Let me give a real example here. Okay. Paytm karo, right? So let's go to Paytm. And if you go to recharge, what is here? Real application. Paytm slash recharge. Paytm slash movies. Paytm slash, let's go for movie. Huh? I don't watch movies. Okay. So like this, for everything, there is a separate service or not, Anna? So for recharge, there is a separate service, right? For loans, there is a separate service, right? For credit card, personal, everything is a separate service or not? If you take slash flight and what you get? Slash flights. So what are all these called? These are called path-based routing. What's that? Path-based. It is path-based routing, not path-based routing. What's that? Path-based routing. Yeah. What is that? I wonder GitHub and GitHub location. What is that GitHub location? GitHub. What is that GitHub location? Git repo. Both are same, no? Okay. So, yeah. GitHub location meaning if anyone is asking for your repo, that means we create a repository in GitHub, no? If it is asking for what is that location that you have, which repository location, then you should say the GitHub location. Yeah. Yeah. So let's concentrate this here first. Okay. So for this, what we need to do is there is a command called kubectl get ing. Say that kubectl get ing. So what does it do? It will list the current ingress. So kubectl get ing. Do we have any ings here? Did we create any ingress controllers here? No. So in order to do that, first we need to install this Nginx ingress controller or not. So first we need to install this Nginx controllers. So for that, here we have the kubectl apply, and then by default you get it. If you go to internet and search for it, you will get the this deploy.yml. You take it and then install it. Nginx. Right? So I created which one here? Ingress Nginx, because the path-based routing I'm doing through what? Nginx. Okay. So what we did here, first we install the Nginx. Okay. So let's see here. kubectl get pods. Do you have any pods running? kubectl get deploy. Do you have any deployments? kubectl get service. So there is a by default one service running, which is cluster IP. And kubectl get IP.
This meeting is being
Apache and then what?
recorded.
Nginx. Two applications I have. One first application is what? Nginx, and second application is Apache. But I want to do this through path-based routing. What is that? Through path-based routing. So for that, first of all, we need to set up these two applications or not? What are the two applications we are using here? One is Nginx, another one is Apache meaning here HTTPD. Should we go and set it up these two? For that, we need to have two manifest files or not? So Dinesh, I already said this. Main usage meaning what? I just showed you the best example, yeah? Where were you? Paytm example I gave you, no? If you have the Paytm and see Paytm, and then if you go and click on movie tickets, so it is creating a separate path-based routing or not, /movies. That meaning it is separate service. It is separate application. So this Paytm is not a whole one single application. It is running on microservice. So your flights, movies, right? Everything is separate microservices or not. But everyone is using same URL. But at the end, they are putting what? /application name. And then it is going to this. So they have in the back end movies deployment. They have flight deployment. They have insurance. They have loan deployments. How we are using HDFC? Internet banking deployment, mobile banking deployment, insurance banking. Similarly, same thing here in real time also they'll be using it. But if you have this kind of different deployments, and how do you access from outside? You have the load balancer. Load balancer, you need to put / and then application name. So how we have here movies and the flights. Similarly, I'm taking an example of two applications. One is Nginx, another one is HTTPD. Say that Nginx and HTTPD. So for that, we need to set up a deployment or not? Okay. So the deployment is like this. I'll set up a deployment that you know very well, and also I'll expose that service or not. Okay, let's go with what is that first one, httpd.yml. See this here. This one you know already. Kind deployment. What is the name of the deployment? HTTPD. All these things. How many replicas I'm creating here? One. So what is the container name here? What is the image I'm using? HTTPD image. Can you put your own image here, which has an application inside it? Put it. IB trainer here slash IB hyphen image, you can put it. And whichever the image that you want to put it. The only thing is, so this container will host the image. Yeah. I'm in my 7:30 only, no? Guys, you're all my 7:30 people only, right? Okay. Yeah, because I got a notification that that 7:30 meeting got started. It's the same meeting, no? Yeah. Fine. So, and then what is the environment? So the name title value is what? Apache application 2 or 1. You just give any name is fine. Okay, so this is the deployment it will create. What is the deployment name? HTTPD. And this deployment, we need to expose it or not? We need to create a service. So what is the kind here I'm using here? Service. And what's the type I'm using? Cluster IP. I'm not exposing outside directly my application. I will be exposing through ingress. I'll be exposing through what? Ingress. My application is internal only, but I'll be exposing to with ingress. That meaning ingress will create a load balancer for us. Ingress will create a load balancer for us. And ingress has a capacity that if you put slash nginx, it will go to the nginx. If you put slash httpd, it will come to this httpd application. Understood? Okay. So what's the service port number here? 80. Understood this one? So similarly, I need to create which one? Nginx. Which one? Nginx dot yml. Same thing. Nginx. We have saved a lot of time. Otherwise, I need to keep on writing this every day. As you accepted that, sir, you copy paste it, no problem. So it saved a lot of time. Otherwise, just to write this, it will take for me 15, 20 minutes, all these things. Correct? Yeah. So it's here. What is the deployment name? Nginx. Replicas 1. So app Nginx, everything. Here I'm going for the Nginx. And then I'm exposing once I'm creating a service for Nginx cluster IP. Same. Okay. So now, first of all, we need to deploy these two things or not? So we need to deploy these two things. Tell me how to deploy. kubectl create hyphen f. Which one? HTTPD and then nginx. So it created a deployment and also it created what? Service. Deployment meaning the pods it has. On top of it, what we have? Service. On top of it, now we will create what? Ingress. On top of it, what we create on here? Ingress. So if this is Kubernetes, Kubernetes here. So we have the pods. How many pods we created now? 2 pods, right? This is what application? HTTPD. And this is what application? Nginx. And these two are exposed. And on top of it, what we have here? Service. What we have here? Service we created, right? So it is created internally or not? So cluster IP we have used. What is that here? Cluster IP. On top of it, what I'm creating here? Ingress. What is that? Ingress control. Huh? Two. Okay. Acha. Hey, you boy. So I just wrote services, you have it. Okay. So let's go forward. Ingress. Okay. Which service is this? HTTPD. And this one is Nginx. Yes or no? Can you tell me the command to list the deployments? kubectl get deploy. So we have HTTPD and then Nginx. So these are the two pods that we have that deployments has created. This pod and this is pod. Okay now. And can you tell me the services to list the service kubectl? Kubectl get SVC. So we have here HTTPD and then Nginx having what here? Cluster IP, and it is having the port called 80. So the services are running on which port number? 8. So these two are two different things or not? These two are two different services. These are two different applications. But what I need to have? I need to have only one name. Boom.com. What is that? Boom.com. So boom.com is the application that I have. But if I go and hit slash, which one here? HTTPD. If someone using HTTPD and other guys are using what? Engineering. Both are two different applications or not? If someone hit it, so they both will come to whom? They both will come to ingress controllers. They both come here. And this ingress controller has a mechanism to find out that what is the after slash, what is they are putting here at the end of the URL. So Nginx controller, we will be creating one more manifest file. We'll deploy this Nginx controller also. Once you deploy it, in that there, what code will be there? Now it's the time to show you the code. So guys, don't worry about the entire thing. You can copy paste this code. No need to remember this at all. Okay. So vi, what is that? Ingress.yml. Okay, see. So what is the kind I'm using here? Ingress. What's the name? Kate's ingress. These annotations, just ignore it. So what it is saying here, it is saying that SSL redirect is false. What's that? SSL redirect. SSL redirect meaning, remember, if someone is typing HTTP, automatically it will convert to HTTPS, right? That option I'm not giving. I'm making it as what? False. So for this, each and every thing I have mentioned here. What is this here? Next one is use regex. Regex meaning regular expressions. What's that? Regular expressions meaning I'm writing some expressions here. So I'm just enabling that as true. What is that? True. And then what is it here? Last one is rewrite target. What's that? So it rewrites the match URI to the specific target. So if someone is hitting here boom.com/httpd. So that's a redirection or not? So that redirection will be happened here that I'm saying as true. So now come here. So what is the Nginx class name I'm giving here? Nginx rules. See here, what is this here? Path. What is it here, Nana? If someone is coming with /Nginx, say that. If someone is coming with what? /Nginx, what is the service I'm giving here? Service name. How many services we created? 2. What are those 2 services? One is Nginx, another one is HTTPD. So if anyone is coming with /Nginx, it is redirected to which service? Nginx. On which port number? 80. Similarly, if anyone is coming with /HTTPD, it is redirected to which service? HTTPD. So these things, and if anyone is coming with just only slash, no one is, they're not putting anything, then by default it is still going to Nginx. But if you want, you can give another service also for this. Similar good example is Paytm example. If you are just typing paytm.com, this is the one service or not? This is a default service. And if someone is putting here Paytm/movies, and this is another service or not? And if someone is putting Paytm/ recharge is another service or not? Similar real-time example I'm taking here. But here I'm using which Nginx control, which ingress controller? Nginx ingress controller. Which one? Nginx. Understood? So this one, you no need to worry about this entire code. So by default, it is available anywhere. You just go to ChatGPT or Google and just type what if you want Nginx, because I told you in Linux we have learned Nginx, right? Nginx, I told you how to set up web server, how to set up reverse proxy, how to set up load balancer. Nginx will do three things. What are the three things? Web server, load balancer, reverse proxy. I set up this web server also. I set up the reverse proxy also. In Docker, I have set up what? Load balancer also. And what is this doing? What is this doing? It's kind of reverse proxy only. What's that? So it is just doing the path-based routing. What is it here? So Nginx has the capacity to do all these kind of rewrites. All these of rewrites. So you just need to tell Nana, you just need to change your name here, whatever the application name. If you put /movies, and here movies service should be there. And what that movie service has, movies deployment will be there. And what does the movies deployment contain? Pods. What does the pod contain? Movie application. You understand the route. If you are putting here /movies, okay, this is /movies. What's you're putting? /movies. If you're putting /movies, it will come to the ingress controller. In ingress controller, what is the mention? What did you mention? You mentioned that it needs to go to which service? Movie service. Or else it need to go to recharge service. And the movie service has already a deployment here. And what does the deployment contain? Pods. What does the pod contain? Movie application. So if you want to do these things, then you need to use this ingress controller. Now what we do? Should we go and set this up? Create. kubectl create -f. Which one? Ingress. So how many manifest files we created now? 3. What are those? One is HTTPD, another one is Nginx application, another one is ingress. So what is the command to list the ingress? kubectl get ing. So did it give any external address here? No. So we need to wait few seconds and then you will get your load balancer automatically. Now it is creating a load balancer in the backend. Let's wait. Do you see this now? Do you see the load balancer here? Who created? Our ingress controller has created. So now if I use this load balancer and I hit it, you tell me which one I'll get. Which one I'll get? Which one I'll get? If I put, so guys, I have 3 rewrites there in Nginx controller, right? In Nginx, we have done 3 rewrites. One is /Nginx, another one is /HTTPD, another one is only /. Only / is going to where? Routing to Nginx. So if I put my load balancer, I'll get what? Nginx. If I put /HTTPD, HTTPD. If I put /Nginx, Nginx will get. Should we test it? Take this, go here. What we got here? Nginx. Okay. If you put /, which one? Another path. HTTPD. What it says? It works. And if you put here /Nginx, you got Nginx? Similar to my Paytm or not? So this is the nasty URL load balancer. What do you do? Make a where? Route 53. boom.com/Nginx will come. If I purchase a domain called boompay.com, I'll get also boompay/ all batch. I'll put 7:30 batch one, right? 9 AM batch, evening 5:30 batch. I can create a separate service and deployments or not. You understand how we are deploying the applications on Kubernetes? Guys, I'm telling you, if you take all these things, my manifest files, what I have set up, you can easily set up application in real time. Yes or no? Easily you can set it up. No need to do any kind of exploration, investigation. So everything error-free code, I have done it for you. Okay. We need to go to AWS Managed Console and Makeup, right? Where we to go? Route 53. No, we need to go to Route 53 and do the makeup for this load balancer. So if you go to instances, if you go to the load balancer, you might have got a load balancer created here. This load balance. Clear enough? Online, this is clear. Ingress. Which one? Yeah, yeah. That is also there, and there's so multiple services are there for Ingress controllers. Online, clear, please. And let's delete it. Command. Guys, okay, kubectl. And then delete -f. Which one? HTTPD. And then we delete what? Nginx. And we delete what? Which one? Ingress. Okay. So there is also kubectl get ing. It's gone. Okay. Online now. Can I get CC till here, please? So that is on the ingress. Super. Now let's go to the another topic called pod scheduling. What's that? So we already learned a little bit on the scheduling before while creating the jobs. Remember, we created the jobs and then we created the cron jobs for it. And then we created a lot of things in how to schedule, and we have done a lot of things. But here, this is also a part of that, but a little bit different. This is actually for a fresher, not at required, but for experienced people, this might be required. As a fresher, you will not be using this at all. But it is good to know all these new topics for you, right? So what is the concept here? Pod scheduling. So let's say, for example, pod scheduling, how do I tell you is clearly, in this building, rooms are there or not? Why are you coming to only this room? Huh? Yes. So this room is allocated to you. It's clearly wrote on the bottom in the board, right? DevOps 202. Yes or no? So this room has been selected for this DevOps course. Yes or no? So similarly, you are all pods, or you are all pods. So when I create a pod, so for this room, I'll put a label. What I'll put? So we'll put a label saying that DevOps class, DevOps label. So for all of you, all these things, guys, all of you people as a pods, if I say that, hey, go to DevOps room, will you go to this room? Will you go to other room? 202 or 201? 20? Will you go to 201? Go. Hey, pods, go. Hey, pods, go. Yes or no? Will not go. That is the concept called node selector. Say that. Node selector. Say that. Node selector. So similarly, how I have told you a room here. Similarly, in cluster, we have the worker node. What we have? Worker node. So for that worker node, I label it. I'll label a thing called something. You can give any label. Labels like a node 1 or internet banking node or mobile banking node or movies node or recharge node, right? Only recharge pods should come and fall on that node. Only on movies pods should go on another node. Now movies pods will come to recharge node. Not good, right? So if you want to bifurcate, if you want to separate like this, So can we schedule? We will tell to the Kubernetes kubelet saying that not kubelet, scheduler. We'll tell to the scheduler, a scheduler, I am putting a label for this node, and whoever is coming with this label, all these pods need to be created only inside that worker node which has that label. If it is not mentioned, don't create it. Or if you mention some other node, don't use that worker node. Only for that label, having that label, only pods that should be there inside it. Otherwise, no. What is this concept called? Node selector. Say that. It is mandatory or not? Let's say, for example, uh, two nodes are there. Node 1, node 2. Say that. Node 1, node 2. So in my node selector, in the YAML file, in the manifest file, I have mentioned that, hey, pods, go to node 3. Will the pods will create? Will the pods will create? Answer is no. It is mandatory that it should have the labels or not, proper label. That is node selector required. Required. Next topic, we have something called node affinity. Say that. Say that again. Node affinity. Node affinity having two things. One is preferred, another one is required. Say that. Preferred, required. In node affinity, we have two things, Anna. What are the two things? Preferred and required. The previous one was node selector. Node selector is done. If the node has this label, go to that. Otherwise, don't go. Simple as that. Coming to the node affinity concept, in node affinity, again, you have two types. What are those? One is preferred, another one is required. So required meaning same concept node selector will come here. That meaning if whoever has this label, it is required to go to that part, to that node only. Otherwise, don't. Strictly. Hard. Very hard. Another one is what? Preferred. So we are telling to the scheduler, maximum use this label. If you have this label, then only pods need to be created. But if you use preferred concept, no. If that label is not there also, okay. Go and create it in another node. Chalega. Chalega type is preferred. Nahi chalega. Rukega nahi sala. Which one? Required. And then node selector. Node selector in node affinity required. Both are same. Right? So then it's okay by no problem. Then go for preferred. Got the point? So what are the topics we have learned here now? So node selector, node affinity. Node selector, and then and then another one we call it as taints and tolerance. Say that. Taints and tolerance. Say that one more time. Taints and all these concepts are same only, but you have different things. Little bit difference will be there. Node affinity, you can write nice expressions. If the label is equal to or in not equal to, these kind of operators you can do it in the node affinities. Taints and tolerance also the same thing. You will just putting a dabba label to one node saying that this is label name, that for the node label is this. And then in the pods we'll mention the tolerance. In that tolerance, if you mention wherever the node has this label, go into that, otherwise don't go. That is called what? Taints and tolerance. Concepts are similar, but you have little bit different, slightly differences, and we have little bit flexibility. Which one? Flexibility. So out of these three, taints and tolerance is the old mechanism. Taints and tolerance is the old mechanism. Node selector, and which one is the best? Node affinity. Which one is best? Node affinity. So node affinity is the latest thing that people are using it. So now you have learned three things here. What are those three things? Node selector. Next one, node affinity. And next one, taints and tolerance. Online, can you please put these three things in the chat? Yes, we are telling the pod direction to go. Kalyani, correct. Who is the traffic controller here? Scheduler. Who is that? Scheduler. Online, put in the chat. Number one, node selector. Say that. Name itself is saying node selector. Node select it. You select based on the label. Based on the label. So node affinity. Node affinity has again two things. What are those? Preferred and required. Required meaning it's mandatory or not? Preferred meaning chalega. Maximum it will try to find out that label. If the label is not there, pods will get created in the another node. And last one is what? Taints and tolerance. Say that. Should I tell you one small thing? Does the pod schedules in the master node? Why? Because it has a taint saying that no schedule, no schedule. Should we go and check it? That's a reason why scheduler will check the labels. For the master node, by default, one taint is a taint. No schedule taint is there already. So that's the reason why Kubernetes, this kube scheduler will never go and schedule the pod. Like this, can you taint any worker node also or not? You can taint any worker node and then ask them, don't will be taints and schedulers will be helpful for kind of upgrades. If you're doing maintenances, upgrades, what we can do? We can tell the node that, hey, scheduler, do not schedule any pods on the particular node. I'm taking the maintenance. So taint it is as no schedule. We have no, we have prefer schedule. We have something called no execute. No execute is very dangerous. Don't use it. No execute means your pods will not run at all. Everything is related to what. Let's go one by one slowly. But you understand the whole concept here, guys? Online. See here. Online. So what is the first thing that we have, Nana? Say with me. Node selector. Next one is node affinity. Next one is taints and tolerance. So I've given the clear explanation here. See here, read with me. Node selector is the simplest form of node selection constraint, allowing pod to be scheduled only on node with a specific labels. How we have this room is allocated for me, DevOps. So you all directly come here. You're not going somewhere else, right? So this is selected for me. So here there is a label called DevOps label or DNA label, right? That directly you can come here. So it's a simply node select. So now tell me, see here, this is a manifest file. I'm writing it, but I'll show you a little bit ulta now. In real time, what happens is people will create the manifest files and then they will run it. And then pods will not schedule. Pods will not schedule. Schedule meaning create. Pods will not create. Why? Because there is no labels for it. I'll show you now indirectly. First, I'll show you, I'll reproduce the error and I'll show you how to fix that error. Because so that you will see the logs and you will see how to troubleshoot everything. You will get it here. Okay. Okay. See here now. So first one is which one, Nana? Node selector. Our common manifest file will take it. Okay. VI, which one? Node selector.yml. Okay. There is one small difference here. Can you find out where it is? One small difference, I put it here. Did you found that? Sorry, that was a mistake. Now you found it. Which one is that? Node selector. I think you guys will also will do the same mistake. I forgot to put colon there. Here node selector. So here in the specification, I'm telling how many pods is getting, how many containers is getting created, how many pods are getting created here? 2. So these 2 pods are getting created, but here clearly I wrote in the spec node selector. And then what is the label I'm giving? Node name, and I call it as IB node. First of all, how many nodes are there for us? In cluster, how many are there? 2 nodes. One master, 2 worker node. Master, anyways, forget about it. It's useless fellow. Right? And then what are the 2 things we have? Worker node 1, worker node 2. Did I give any label till now? Did I give the label to the worker nodes? What is the label here I'm giving? Node hyphen name is the key. Value is what? IB hyphen node. One node name is IB node, another one is MB node. Think like that. Did I label it till now? But directly I have mentioned in the manifest file. Will this work? Let's try. Okay. Creator. kubectl, apply or create anything is fine. Apply hyphen F node selector. It's created. kubectl get pods. In which state are those? By the time it should be running or not? It has been 14 seconds already. In real time, what people do is someone will write the manifest file, someone will execute. It's always like this. And then I wrote these manifest files. And then Subhash came and then he executed his file. And he put it hands under the cheeks and then waiting. Okay. I did not create it. Okay, now you got in the pending status. What is the first thing that you need to do? Huh? Check the logs. Okay. Tell me the command. kubectl get. Acha, okay. kubectl logs. Is the part created first of all? Then what didn't got created? No, then only logs will generate, right? Okay, good. Events, okay, let's do kubectl get events. Forget about this. This is before. Do we have anything here? It is 49 minutes ago. Do you have anything here? No. Exactly. Let's go and check the describe. Tell me the kubectl first get pods. Okay, next kubectl describe which one? Here. Achha. Read it. Schedule. Nodes are available. One node had untolerate taint something. and two node affinity or selector. It clearly shows here. Which two nodes didn't match pods, no empty. That means both are node selector, no affinity, position same. The only difference is flexibility. Understood? So it shows that pods are getting not created because there is no label for any node. So by doing loop pods in the managed file somewhere in the pod node affinity or node selector. Oh, he has given the node affinity, node selector. So which then you need to go and do the cat. Which one is that? YAML file node selector, and then you to come and say, oh, he has given some node selector. This is how you do it. So one node name it is for these two worker nodes here. Answer is no. So what we need to do